Elio guys, and welcome back, and welcome to day 2 of Infinite Magicraid Global here. So a quick recap of what I've done on my account. I have luckily unlocked like the little talent section. There's also the forge that has been unlocked. There's also the temple. I think I upgraded my dispatch too. And of course I do have the guild rocking, so if you guys haven't joined my guild titled Radiance, then feel free to do so. But in terms of the world map, at least compared to where I was from yesterday, things have changed. So I'm over here in hard mode. I'm about roughly halfway through. I just unlocked the Glen Highland via hard mode, so I'm going through there. But one concern that you guys had brought up in the prior video, which by the way if you comment it, that really helps me if I'm doing kind of daily or at least every couple of days type of content like this, that I can address those issues, is that, you know, your stamina count is very high at this point in time. But don't worry, as you get deeper into the campaign, your stamina is just going to get burned up because running of the stages is going to cause a lot more stamina here. But if you're at a point like where I'm at or something similar, maybe in Nightmare, one of the biggest things I like to do is of course just go back through here and see if I can actually, you know, 3-star all my stages. Sometimes that takes like a couple of retries, which is perfectly fine, and that also helps to, you know, boost up your unit's experience level. So that's free leveling up right there, because once you get later into hell, one of the things I was doing was basically like farming out the campaign in terms of hell just to level up some units to about roughly level 110, which is A1. Then I would use experience potions after that. You know, since the game came out 2 days ago, I don't really expect, you know, a whole bunch of people to have access to hell, though I'm sure a couple people are sitting in hell, and that's just due to really good units. So if you do have extra stamina to burn, make sure these stages are 3-starred, and if they aren't 3-starred and you somehow just can't 3-star them at this point in time, it's perfectly fine. You want to come back though. I cannot warn you enough. You want to come back, because if you come over here to the lovely auto drop rewards, you want this bad boy leveled up. And you may be asking, Elio, but why? Why should I trust your words? You're gonna have to trust me on this one. You're really gonna have to trust me. I'll show you my beta account and what happens there when you have a very high auto drop rewards level. So starring your stages may be a pain in the butt, but right now it's pretty easy. You want to get that up though, because you get freaking 3 stars, you get 4 stars slid in here, which really helps with the whole crafting progression. Let me head over here to the dungeon tab though. So the big differences here is that the dwarven ruins have been unlocked. There's also the lovely dragon cliff, which I don't recommend anyone farming unless there is an event going on here. You should absolutely never farm this dungeon, and even then I would argue it's just not worth the squeeze. I do mention that in my beginner's guide here because you're running these stages X amount of times and it's costing you stamina for you to get a guaranteed egg. But if you run campaign, you get experience for your units that you may be leveling up for the Faction Abyss dungeon or Tower of Mark, or just in general. You get gold from clearing out that stage. You get more gold by selling the crappy gear that you get, and in recent cases too, they've also implemented some type of, you know, farming events too, where you can literally only get that farming currency via the campaign, not any of this. So I just totally ignore this. Brave Trial is very similar to where it's kind of like an event only thing, and it gets rougher as you get on, you know, higher in levels. So it's really optimal for you guys to build up your units to the best that you can. But touching more on the Tower of Mark here, I did start going in terms of like the blue Tower of Mark, which I have some comments about Natalie, but I'm going to continue to test her before I go ahead and drop a video on that. There's Maya as a healer, Christian's just there, Poseidon's just there. And if I'm running through prior stages, just trying to get them up to 3 stars, and I feel comfortable with what I'm doing, I could always take one of these bad boys or take a couple of these bad boys, throw them all in a squad together since I'm using them for Tower of Mark right now. Not saying that I'm going to invest in Christian in the future or Poseidon, but I could just level them up just to help with stability right now through the Tower of Mark. That's literally no investment other than me running stages and burning off some of my stamina. That's one of the types of thought processes that you should have in terms of Infinite Magicraid, of using one side of the game to kind of benefit you elsewhere. But yeah, I've been heavily focusing on the blue Tower of Mark, even though none of these baby girls have even hit their regular cap yet. I did dabble inside the red mark and also the force mark. Green mark I can't do because my whole units right now is just utter garbage. But the biggest thing is focus on one mark, because a little bit later in the marks it does get a little bit spicy in terms of boss strategy. Nothing super duper like big brain or anything like that, but you are going to need at least a couple of key units to get through those parts, which I do have videos I believe on Tower of Mark 15, 16, and 17, and I can always do like 18, I think up to maybe 23 is where I stopped at on my beta account here. So with that being said though, come over here to talent real quick, and then, you know, say for instance you're concentrating on one mark, which is what you should be doing. This is what I've done. So you have to have X amount of investment into the prior level before the next level unlocks, which is perfectly fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest issue as you begin the account, regardless of your level, regardless of what units that you have, is speed. You are naturally just a lot slower than what you're going to be fighting in hell and stuff like that, because their stats just get ratioed to hell. So in order to combat that, and this also helps you in a PvP situation, you want to raise your speed up. You want to be the first one acting and not the AI acting on you, because if you can make them pass away, then it doesn't matter if they make you pass away, because they can't do it. They're already gone. So focusing so much on speed is, I would say, probably a recommendation at this point in time. So pump that speed stat as much as you can. I did put a little bit in like defense and HP and, you know, summon to attack, but your highest ratio should be in your speed first, and the other stats is really depending on your team composition. So if you have HP burners, feel free to give them plenty of HP. But, you know, as you unlock the other guys too, it does become percentage based with this speed stat right there, which is just another gain. But the first thing you want to invest in is speed. I'm telling you, that's what you want to do. You could take a more balanced approach with this, but I found with my beta account that it kind of held me back a little bit. Just because, okay, my units may be weaker than someone else's, but I go first. It doesn't matter if I'm weaker than you, if it's only by a small margin, and I get to go first, because, once again, you get to pass away. I'm still alive. Just FYI here. So other than that, in terms of this account, you know, I've of course been doing my dailies here, which you guys should always be filling out this lovely quest slot right here. That way we get those lovely purple wishes. And then of course this also coincides with the advanced quest too. And if you aren't even a fan of PvP, then you still need to come over here and make sure you're doing PvP. I can't tell you enough, like, even if you suck at it, just go and drop those 10 freaking PvP emblems or whatever the heck they're called, because you want those tier attributes, which helps you in the campaign. You also get rewards for ranking up over here in PvP. And the most important part about PvP isn't all that. It's going back over here to the talent screen, and it's going to be the class talents, because you could take the books from winning in PvP and pop it into these stats here. And over time, that's really going to grow and help your characters be a lot better than what they are here. Now, with that said, you know, I'm going to keep on pushing through the lovely campaign with this account, and I'll show you guys my heroes after I actually do what I've been telling you guys to do, which is to make sure that dispatch stays up. And I'm telling you right now, you know, I will show you my beta account in 1 second, but this is my hero roster to anyone curious, just guys what I'm working with. Nothing too wonderful. Elena came out as my secondary or my second legendary via the pity, and these are the other guys right here. I am interested in building Vidar for science. I'm also interested in Capello, but I am more so interested in, I believe his name's either Kaido or Kato, because one of them is very interesting, which they recently kind of buffed up too. But I end up pulling a Wim, and I also have a Reliant, and she has partial gear on her. Wim has gear on him already because I was using him already, and that is my boy right there. But the main consensus of this account is for me to continue pulling. I'm not so set in stone on my legendaries yet. Like, Elena feels a little bit lackluster at this point in time, even though I've popped a couple books into her. And then Jennifer, though, I thought I wouldn't like Jennifer, but lately, she's been throwing down at the playground, you guys. Like, wow. And one more thing I would like to add in before I go ahead and switch to my main account to show you guys that what I'm saying is true. And I'm not saying you necessarily need to believe it, but if you can see it, well, you can make 2 and 2 put together. But coming over here to privileges, if you are going to spend in this game, which I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but if you are going to support the game by any way, I would honestly say privileges is one of the best values that you get, because you get the auto drop from the campaign rewards plus 50%. That's huge. Over time, that really builds up. You do get the Tower of Mark keycap raised. Doesn't really matter because you should be blowing those any chance that you get. The coin cost for enhancements is very nice in the beginning of the game when you're going through a lot of gear. And of course, multi-battle attempts per day is nice, but not necessary because you can just buy that stamina. But the money comes in right here. So you get another try at the guild boss, which can kind of net you more rewards depending on what tier of the guild boss that you're doing. In terms of daily dispatch quests too, you get 3 more chances to possibly get shards. You can get gold. You may even get an egg out of there. That right there is money. Let's say for instance you get an egg every day for 30 days. That's 30 extra eggs. Huge. Then there's also the lovely max campaign auto drop duration. I think they just added on to that so you don't have to check the game as often. But yeah, big value for what it costs, and it's something that over time kind of helps build your account up, especially once it gets established. And then there is one other thing too that I would deem worthy, and then honestly the rest is up to you. And it is the battle order, which isn't unlocked yet because I'm only on the 2nd day of the game. But once that unlocks on the 7th day, it is 100% worth the money if you were going to spend it. So let me slide over here to my beta account and show you the freaking battle order real quick. Alright, so I'm over here on my beta account right here. I have my lovely Rosalia as my picture right here. But, you know, I mentioned earlier in the video about the campaign drops and how you should be starting your freaking campaign as soon as you can. I'm sitting at 1,401 stars out of 1,440, and look at this. I'm sitting at 259,000 gold. There's a free Obero in here. There's also some lovely drops that I can sell. We have more fodder. There's a 1-star, there's a 3-star, there's a 2-star. There's also a couple more 1-stars. That's every single day. A 4-star every single day. Not guaranteed, but once you get to a high enough ratio with your stars, it's pretty much there. So I'm going to go ahead and claim that. This is why you should be doing the campaign, especially if you have excess stamina. Charge for it and get those freaking stars, you guys. And then with the quick auto drop too, I haven't really been doing this on my launch account because it's not really, you know, profitable. But once you get your star count up, this is smiley face gaming right here. Look at that. 3-star, 1-star, 1-star. I got some equipment I can sell for some gold too. And then a dispatch over here. This is mine in its current state, which is at level 10. And I won't bore you guys too much with me clicking on this here. But once again, I'm indicating you. But once again, I'm kind of indicating to you guys to be doing this. You want this lovely stuff to pop up here. I'm getting gold. I'm getting experience potions and very bad gray rolls here. Look, there's a 3-star dragon egg. Got it. Look at that. There's a purple wish. Do you believe me now? Hopefully you believe me, but this is part of like my whole daily spiel. There's 2 purple wishes. All I have to do is wait and I get those. Another dragon egg? Like I'm telling you guys, it'll buff out. It'll buff out in the end. And then also I had mentioned the battle order here. The lovely part about the battle order is, I mean, spend it if you want to. It's really up to you. But the battle order has the free and the VIP tier. You should be doing the battle order as soon as you unlock it, as much as you can to whatever capacity as you can, at least to stage 50, because you get a free 5-star dragon egg. Huge for your progression. You also get other lovely goodies too, like miracle wishes. There's plenty of gold. This month was reliant. You get a mythic shard, some wishes, and then there's also Christian right here. And even if you don't use those characters, you literally can just sacrifice them to the gods and boost up the characters that you do use. So don't see these as, oh, I don't use that character so I don't care. You're playing yourself. Use these characters to your advantage. They're given to you just by you completing the order quest, which is normally part of your dailies or kind of like an extended spin-off on your dailies. And that is it, you guys. Like, in terms of investment too, if you wanted to spend the money, we're getting Supreme Wish, there's Mythic Shards, there's stuff for the Forge over here, Miracle Wishes, more stamina, 1,000 stamina over there, which is extremely huge in terms of events. We get a freaking skill scroll that's legendary. I mean, if you're not sold on that, then I don't know what to tell you. But in terms of spending your money, if you were going to purchase something, I would honestly recommend those 2 things. And then, you know, in terms of fodder too, many people are kind of up in arms about who they should sacrifice and who they should give away here. But I'm going to show you this. Now, I've been playing the game for a little bit, especially as a beta player here, but if you have any concerns as to, you know, if you're sacrificing the wrong units or you're scared that you'll never get them back, well, I got news for you. Look at this. My whim, He has exclusive weapon level 5. There's Liz, Rosalia, Magus, Reliant. We have Holder, who's still level 110, but we won't talk about that. I was in the process with Hardak, Mori, Orbero. Plenty of legendaries right here, but look at this. If you were ever worried about fodder and running out of fodder, once you get to a certain point in the game, especially in the Hell region, that's when drops become, I wouldn't say a lot more kind to you, but you just have a system going on to where you're constantly getting wishes. So let me scroll down right here. So these are some of the epics that I was using to kind of level up and get a feel for, especially in terms of the faction, and then we're going to keep on scrolling down. After that though, I just literally started straight up hoarding. Look at this. This isn't a flex. This is me doing what I personally do in the game, and over time, like these guys just built up. And yeah, you could argue, Elio, you're sitting on a whole bunch of these units and you're not sacrificing them to further your other units here. Once again, I develop a system. There's plenty of the lovely idle rewards too that we get more units from. Farming out the campaign in Hell mode also gives you units too. And I could slowly build up these guys over time without too much investment. But I have plenty of characters that I could work on and sacrifice at any point in time. But I literally have been keeping like 5 copies of them in case I wanted to kind of invest into them in the future right there. And I have freaking 6 Edens. And spoiler alert, I'm not a big fan of Eden, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, so hopefully this video helped in terms of the day 2 progress and just showing you guys. Not so much that I'm just speaking out of my butt, because I'm not, but at least with what I've done with the game or with what I understand of it, I feel like I have a decent understanding of it. And if you're following some of my advice, just some of it, not all of it, then you too will also be in a good standing as you progress through Infinite Magicraid. But definitely leave a comment below if you guys have any suggestions of what I should touch on, hopefully in the next video. And if you guys are curious about seeing like a character spotlight or something, then feel free to let me know, because I'm thinking about doing, you know, kind of daily / weekly-ish videos like this where I talk about my experience through the game, but also going back to my roots, which was, you know, really reviewing characters and kind of showing them off to you guys as well, because there's plenty of units in the game. And obviously, as a person that operates one of the tier lists out there, one of them, which is opinion not fact, one of the funnest parts about the whole experience of the tier list is showing you guys I actually use the unit if possible. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, and yeah, see ya.